Boom, what it do, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I'm your host, Serg Vicente. This is episode 272 of the greatest combat sports and culture show. Like I said, I'm Serg Vicente, and if you guys look over here to the side, yo, I got my brother over here. We got the Guru.
I need a championship belt. I need a WBC belt.
You need it, brother. We got the Guru. We got Camm coming on the show because it is all things boxing. Wow, this is, I don't even know why I got you sitting over there, brother. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show today.
Happy to be here as always, man. How you been? How was your weekend? You
know what, man? The weekend was good, brother. Birthday in the books. This is how we get it cracking, man. It was a good weekend. Tosh, the first lady of the Fight Podcast, she took care of the kid, man. We ended up doing a food tour around the city, grabbing amazing foods, some of my favorite stuff, all throughout LA. If you guys checked out my story, I'm sure you saw it, man. But it was a good time, bro. I appreciate it. How about yourself, bro?
Real old nigga birthday?
Old nigga COVID birthday, for real. Like, ain't shit cracking.
You gotta do what you can, G. You gotta do what you can.
Man. We do what we can. But you know what, bro? There were some fucking fights this weekend. And nigga, some knockouts. Holy shit!
We don't even have to get into boxing yet, G, because I saw that fucking Derek Lewis knockout. Boy. Oh man, out of nowhere.
The Black Beast put it on him. Did what the Black Beast does. Oh my God, I'm gonna be honest with you guys right here. I'll tell you right here. I'm looking in the camera. Derek Lewis is the hardest punching fighter in combat sports history.
Oh my gosh. What?
Definitely MMA history, and I'm be honest with you, I think MMA niggas hit harder.
Okay.
You know what? Because I'll be honest with you, it's different, bro. Okay, I'll be nice. He's the hardest puncher in MMA history.
You work on a lot more
with MMA.
Yeah, like you're not just working on punching, you're working on kicking,
but that's what I'm
saying.
Yes, you're talking about a normal MMA fighter. I'm talking about the Black Beast. Do you think he worries about anything else?
Nope, because all it needs is one. All it needs is one.
All he needs is one.
That's like Deontay Wilder. He walked to the gym. Hey, sir, all I need is one. He ain't here nowhere else in the gym. What did his trainer say? He said no. He walked in and he just knew what it was. He said, hey, and it worked. The thing is, it worked for a very long time.
It worked forever with Deontay Wilder, who we might end up talking about later on the show. But really quick, on today's menu, we gotta let the people know what we're talking about today. We'll talk about MMA, but that'll be towards the end of the show. But it is all things boxing. We are going to talk about, speaking of fucking knockouts and amazing performances, Oscar Valdez puts on a show this weekend, man. We'll talk about that. Holy shit, man. We also, with that fight, we had some upsets. There were some big upsets. We'll discuss that. We'll also talk about the problem. All about billions. Adrian Broner was back. Did he produce? Is it what we want to see? Was it what we expected? We'll discuss that all, and we'll also talk Teofimo Lopez versus Top Rank, Canelo Alvarez, Guru's Corner, and so much more, man. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into the action. This weekend, Oscar Valdez goes out there and KOs Miguel Berchelt, the WBC junior lightweight champion, with the nastiest left hook out there, bro.
Sergio,
please tell me about this fight.
What were you doing watching that fight? Like, that's the fight you remember that moment because for a very long time you won't forget what you were doing if you watch that live. You will not. It was that type of moment.
It was, man. It was definitely one of those moments, and it's funny because again, that was on Saturday, February 20th was my birthday, bro. You had to hit me, bro. Are you watching these? I know you were out. So I literally turned the fight on 2 rounds before the knockout. I just so happened to click it on, and I'm watching it, and when that happened, holy shit. So, yo, brother, set the stage for me. Tell the people what the fuck happened.
So, Oscar Valdez comes in as a pretty significant underdog. I mean, I'd say what, like, I don't know what betting odds were off the top of my head. I'd say probably like a 3-1.
He was a 3-1 underdog.
He seemed like a 3-1 underdog. I picked him. You actually picked I picked Berchelt. You actually picked Valdez. But most of us expect the pressure of Miguel Berchelt to be able to get to Oscar Valdez in the middle rounds, and he'll probably get a late stoppage in round 8 or 9. Like, essentially what the Josh Kelly fight looked like. We expected that out of this fight. However, Valdez, he trains with the best trainer in all of boxing.
Say it again. Say it with your chest.
Right now, you cannot argue that Eddie Reynoso is the best trainer in boxing. And we won't. We'll move on. So he trains with the best trainer in boxing. He trains with Canelo Alvarez, and just
the best fighter in boxing.
Came with, and I don't know if, you know, the issue with Oscar Valdez leading up to this fight is while he was undefeated, he was in between styles. He switched trainers. People didn't think the style was catching on. He was stuck between wanting to go to war and wanting to show these new boxing and defensive skills that he had learned under Eddie Reynoso. He just looked stuck. He looked a little bit tentative. And while he was winning these fights, he wasn't fighting anyone all of that impressive to begin with. So this was a huge step-up fight. Miguel Berchelt, while he had one loss, he was a super dominant champion. So he comes in as an underdog, and Eddie Reynoso just put a masterful game plan together. I don't care what Oscar Valdez has done prior to this. I don't care what he does after this. This was the right fight at the right time. And on this night, it all came together for Oscar Valdez. So what did it look like? Miguel Berchelt is a high-pressure fighter. He uses his jab as a rangefinder to set up the rest of his offense, and he just walks you down. And he's such a powerful puncher, specifically a body puncher. Those punches just start to wear you down. Oscar, he sets up that offense off of that jab, and what Oscar Valdez was able to do very early, he was countering that jab effectively. He clearly had the quicker hands, and he was able to close the distance because Berchelt has a pretty long reach for that weight class. He was able to close that distance by countering that jab. So what happens? Berchelt now can't set up his offense off of the jab, so he ends up chasing Valdez a little bit more. So what does Valdez do? He starts walking him in to these hellacious left hooks, and it came together in the third round. You see, he rocked him bad in the third round. Bad, like. There are people, a lot of people, not me, but there are a lot of people that will argue the fight should have been stopped. He hurt him bad, put him down, and somehow
in the fourth round you're talking about when he was first hurt.
Was that third or fourth round?
It was the fourth round when he was hurt initially. So you believe in the fourth round because here's the thing: even at the bell in the fourth round, he was cracked with a second left. He almost hit the deck there. He was wobbling all fucking back to the damn corner and shit. He was stanky legging all the way up there. And bad. It looked terrible. Let me ask you this, because this is one of those things. In looking at the fight, Miguel Berchelt absolutely started reaching, right? And it made me think of, bro, I'm from Chicago. We hoop up here. We do a better job, obviously. I can understand this analogy because New York niggas don't understand this analogy because y'all don't hoop. I get it. But being from Chicago, I threw a shot. Okay. I know you just got hit with a stray. I love that. Go ahead. Yo, one of the things that they always say when you play basketball, because we play defense in Chicago, is you reach, I teach. You reach, I teach. And one thing that we saw in this fight is that Miguel Berchelt continued to reach, and Oscar Valdez was putting on a lesson of straight boxing. He was lesson. In professor mode. You reach, I teach. I loved it. Do you believe this is the best performance of Oscar Valdez's career? And is he now? And I'm going to ask you, actually, was this the best performance of his career?
Absolutely. The way he put that game plan together, he just didn't let him set him feet. Don't let the power puncher set their feet. And he didn't. It all came together that night.
He made it seem as if he was the matador. He was the matador against the bull. And it literally was just like the matador and the bull. When he had the bull hurt and tired, that's when he started bringing the swords out. And he literally started laying into him with some of those big shots, some of these huge left hooks, and it was a beautiful thing to see. Now, here's my question for you, because now seeing Oscar Valdez, doing what he did to Miguel Berchelt with, you and I both had Miguel Berchelt as one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter at junior lightweight. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. And now we also see some new skills in Oscar Valdez. We thought it was a brawler.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
I said we also see some new skills with Oscar Valdez. This is not the Oscar Valdez that we were talking about before. We see new skills that were not there before. You see what Eddie Reynoso has done to him. So now we rank him against the other fighters this is not the guy we were talking about before.
Guy. Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe now, at this point in time, who is your best junior lightweight in the world? And I'm going to give you a list of a couple guys, and I want your answer, okay? Is it Oscar Valdez? Or is it Jamel Herring, Tank Davis, or Shakur Stevenson? Who is your best junior lightweight in the world? And rank them for me, please.
Oscar Valdez.
With that performance, do you think it's just a prisoner of the moment thing, or do you believe he's legitimately better than like Shakur Stevenson?
I believe he beat the guy we all had ranked as the number one super featherweight or junior lightweight. And I mean, that's what it came down to, because I'm battling in my mind, thinking resumes and all that, but he beat the guy that we said was the guy.
True.
Those other guys, they're not taking that level of fights, not yet at least, and apparently this will lead to a Shakur Stevenson fight. Great, but right now he beat the guy. He's number one. He's the number one junior lightweight in the world, and I have no doubt about that.
Do you think? Okay, so do you believe now? Shakur Stevenson was in the building. He was sitting there. He seemed like Shakur Stevenson was angling for a fight with Miguel Burchell. That's obviously not coming to fruition. Is this fight with Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez actually going to happen?
It should. Both fighters say it will.
Where do you see the hangups coming up, if any?
I mean, they're under the same promoter. Should be easy to make. But boxing is boxing. Those guys are going to want to get paid, and boxing takes over all too many times. And you know, Bob Arum just been with this thing where he don't be keeping his fighters happy. Like, his fighters just don't feel like they get paid enough. So that is something I can see leading up to it. But Shakur Stevenson wants a belt, so I would take a discount for a title shot, because right now you just don't have a belt. So you beat this guy, then you can negotiate a little bit more. But right now you don't have a belt, so he's going to be fighting on a discount. So maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, let's.
I mean, and they're looking for it to happen this summer.
Okay, well, I would love that if that happens. I think that would be, if that happens in July. This is how, and this has always been one of my gripes, the politics of boxing, right? It's the fucking politics of it. We want to see these people fight. We want to see the best of the best. If they can make this fight happen, it's the best of the best. These are the type of fights that we want to see. And it should be one of those fights with an Oscar Valdez. And let me ask you this. How do you see a fight between Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson going? How would that fight come to? What would it look like?
I think Oscar Valdez takes it. Normally I pick Shakur Stevenson for that fight, and from what I've seen thus far, I want to pick Shakur Stevenson for that fight. But in my opinion, there's something to those comments that Buddy McGirt made. Like, in my opinion, he's gonna know what he's talking about more than someone like myself. I mean, he's an accomplished champion, an accomplished trainer. Like, he's going to know what he's talking about. So maybe I'm missing something.
And for those who do not know, what did Buddy say?
Buddy came out and said maybe about a month ago that he felt like Shakur Stevenson was a well-matched fighter. But once he steps up in competition, he feels like he'll get exposed. But he said that he had been well-matched at this point. And Shakur, and him and Shakur Stevenson had a little, or more so Shakur Stevenson went off a little bit on Twitter. But Buddy McGirt felt like he was a well-matched fighter. And for someone like Buddy McGirt to just come out and say that unprompted, I'm not sure what context, if it was an interview, but I see a lot in Shakur Stevenson, but there's something to that. And if that is in fact true, Oscar Valdez is the guy to expose that.
He would be. He would be, especially because Oscar Valdez, man, he showed me so much, didn't he? That motherfucker can bang now. Because that's why I started. Because I was the first one to talk to. I was high on Oscar Valdez before you were. The same way that I think you were high on like Caleb Plant before I was, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you kind of brought Caleb Plant to my, to me. Like, I didn't really know anything about him until you. And I know for me, Oscar Valdez was one of those guys that I was like, I fuck with this dude, right? Mm-hmm. And he's one of those guys that what drew me to him was that all action style that he had. That motherfucker got cojones, you know what I'm saying? He got some big brass Mexican cojones. He goes out there and just balls the fuck out. He doesn't care. And you saw the skill set, but he's a dog. He was willing to dig deep. And that's one of the things I really loved about him. And now we're putting the skills, and dude, his footwork looked amazing. His footwork looked great.
He was switch fighting at points.
Oh my God, he looked awesome, man. But this brings me to my next point, and I'd be remiss that we didn't talk about this. Miguel Berchelt took an L. He's not the only favorite that took an L this past weekend. Josh Kelly, another up-and-comer big name, also took a fucking L. Which one, and he was also highly favored, which one of those two was the biggest upset?
Well, before we move on to this, I do want to say just one thing about Oscar Valdez's win. I think it's really dope that he had always dreamt of winning the WBC belt. Not any of the other belts. Specifically, he wanted that WBC strap. So to see him come back and get that as the underdog, and I don't even feel like we spent enough time talking about the knockout. Like, in the way that he did it, and probably what'll be the knockout of the year.
Let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now. Because I mean, remiss. You're absolutely right. Is that the knockout of the year?
Knockout of the year or not? Yes. I mean, that moment, so... was it unification? No, it wasn't unification. I mean, that moment,
he's coming to get that belt
as an underdog, challenging for the belt to dominate the fight
against a dominant champion
with an amazing game plan, and stop him like that. I mean, it's going to be. You have to have a very big upset to top that.
Hey, yo, the way he fell, fucking Berchelt got dropped like Andy walked in the room. That's what that shit looked like.
It was
he
bad.
Literally felt like he was Woody and Andy came in the room and that motherfucker collapsed. It was one of those. Which knockout was worse? That knockout or the Manny Pacquiao knockout when he got knocked out by when he was knocked out and that really similar.
Pacquiao. Pacquiao was worse. I mean, like you talking about like
knockout? Which knockout was worse?
I still say Pacquiao.
Still,
you know what?
I mean, both of them were bad knockouts.
I think media matters to this point. Like, we had a much better shot of the Berchelt knockout. Like the Pacquiao knockout, like you almost didn't know what happened first. Like, it looked like he tripped. Like you just didn't know. It
looked like he did this.
Exactly. You
saw his shoulders go up.
So being able to see the full knockout, like, it looked better. It felt better. But I mean, you consider who Pacquiao was fighting, who Pacquiao was at the time. You can't discount the magnitude of that knockout. That's another knockout. Certain knockouts, you just remember where you are, you remember what you're doing, because you will not forget that all of your life. And this is one of them.
Where were you with that knockout? Where were you? I'll tell you my story in a second.
So I had some friends in town this weekend, so it was really hard for me to catch the fights this weekend because I was trying to entertain them. I'm out drinking, we out smoking, and I'm just like, it was a lot to catch Josh Kelly fighting at 5 p.m. from the cigar bar. So, I mean, it was tough. So, by the time we all got back to the house, I was just, like, struggling. Slept through Adrian Bronner, just wasn't trying to deal with it. and then
I'm going to be honest with you, and we'll talk about this in a minute.
We'll get into it.
If I'm ever going to sleep through any fight, it would be Adrian Bronner.
Yeah, so, I mean, but I was, like, I had everything set up. I had alarm set and everything. I was like, I might fall asleep now, but I will not miss this fight.
See this.
I got up. I was in tune, and it was from start to finish, pure action. Even when Berchelt started to come on in the middle rounds, but that knockout,
and he did come on. And Berchelt at one point in time, which is crazy because he was hurt in the fourth round initially. In the fucking fifth round, he turns around and hurts fucking Valdez. With the body shot, I think it was. It was the body shot. He hurt him. And you see Valdez kind of like staggering away, running. Dude, it was such... If you have not checked it out, I believe it's on ESPN+. You can check it out there. What a fun fight, man. And then the knockout itself, it is one of those knockouts that even if you saw it coming, I can tell you this knockout is crazy. You can see that knockout on fucking YouTube or Instagram or wherever the fuck. Watching it in the flow of the fight, you still will have the exact same response. You have that same, oh shit! It don't matter where you are. You have the exact same response, bro.
You don't get that in any other sport. Like Steph Curry can't hit a logo 3 in a game just be over. It don't work like that.
It don't work like that. And now, granted, when Buddy from Minnesota, the rookie kid that from Georgia, boomed on that one white dude a couple days ago, you know what I'm talking about? It was almost game over. That was one of those. If it was at the park, we'd all go home. That was definitely one of those dumb.
That moment, you don't get that in any other sport. It's outside of combat sports. So, but
it's combat sports, bro.
Other Of the losses this weekend, I mean, Burchell was a huge loss in the way he got dominated, and it leaves us with a lot of questions about him. Like, was he spent? He gained 16 pounds the day of the fight. They say he looked a little sluggish during the fight. Will he be at 130 again? We don't know. But he's a former title holder. If he's the same after that type of beating,
at that.
If he's the same after that beating, he'll be a tough competitor. There's a lot of fights for him at 130 or 135 pounds. I think he just has more options. Josh Kelly, I mean, he never made it to that mountaintop. And at this point, I'm not sure if he ever will. I mean, it's just a guy who revolved his game around speed. The footwork was there, but not at the right times. And I think it's just, he had a lot, but his lack of power. Like, his lack of power, he couldn't deter anybody. Roy Jones can do that because...
Josh Kelly?
Ooh.
Is he under 25?
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay.
He's 26. 26. He's not young.
If he was under 25, I'd be more apt to say, okay, you know what? And here's the thing. He's still very young. But he does have miles on him because of his amateur pedigree as well. He hasn't taken a lot of damage. He can come back. He can make some adjustments and be a good champion again. He can.
He flew through the first couple rounds, and then just like 3 hard rounds, he was gone.
What do you think happened?
For one, he stopped moving his feet. He started deciding that he could trade on the inside with this guy. And, while he was winning some of those exchanges, he doesn't have enough power. He hurt him earlier in the fight in the second round, but he doesn't have enough power to consistently deter him. So the guy traded with him. Okay. At some point, he caught him. But he wasn't moving his feet enough. The guy was just walking him down. He was allowing himself to get dragged into a dogfight that he wasn't equipped for. And so, he still has some moments. He has a very flashy type of style. You think Nikita, Bobby, even a Roy Jones. It's fun to watch. But when you don't have Roy Jones' power, people can just walk you down, and they're going to end up getting through that. And that's what happened on Saturday. And, David Avanesian, he had a great performance on his part.
Great performance.
He came out there, got hurt early, and got the job done. But I think Miguel Burchell, definitely the more significant knockout.
Okay. Do you think it really affects either weight class?
The losses?
Yeah, like in terms of like which loss has bigger ramifications for the weight. That's not even a good question. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely Burchell.
We talking belts. Yeah, we talking belts in a prospect.
Yeah, I was thinking like long term wise, but still, it's gonna be Burchell regardless. All right. Well, speaking of somebody that's no longer a prospect, and was somebody that was one of the most sought after prospects in all of boxing. At one point in time, a lot of us believed he was gonna be the heir apparent to none other than fucking Money Mayweather. I'm talking about Adrian the Problem Broner, man. He goes out there. He beat Jovane Santiago. Scores of 115, 112, 116, 111, 117, 110. Brandon, Guru.
What them scorecards?
Bro.
Scorecards. I don't know, buddy.
Yo, am I tripping, or is this scorecards kind of fucked up?
Two out of 3 judges gave him a round in which CompuBox didn't register him landing a single punch. That first round. 2 out of 3 judges scored it for him, and CompuBox did not score him as landing a single punch in that round.
Wait. Say that one more time, please. Sorry for the motherfuckers in the
CompuBox.
back. Say that shit one more time.
CompuBox stats are no more than a person sitting there pressing a button if he sees a hit. So it's not like computer technology. It's not like 100% foolproof. But those are the punch stats we tend to see throughout fights, whether it's on boxing or the MMA side. So
he landed none.
Had none.
0.
No punches landed in the first round,
and he won the round.
Yes, on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards.
Dude, so let me ask you this before I get into the fight itself. And what did you have it scored as?
I felt like AB lost. I felt like definitely. I know there was a point deduction at some point, but I felt like the guy went 7 or 8 rounds. I think AB came on late in the fight, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12 was a little bit more debatable, but like he waited too long. The guy had, I think maybe he came on in the 8th round. Like the guy had a big lead when he started to come on. And I've seen Adrian fight like that before. I'm just like, I wasn't surprised. It was just like Adrian Broner, flashes of talent that you can still see during the fight, but he just chooses not to do it consistently. I don't know if the stamina's not there. I don't know if he doesn't want to take the risk to get hit, but Adrian Broner is just Adrian Broner. I don't want to hear ring rust, none of that. Like, though, it's been 2 years, but I don't. And it flopped, and it flopped. That's been Adrian Broner's thing. He can always draw. The fight flopped.
Yeah.
So now what does he have?
I mean, that's the thing. It flopped because Adrian Broner is a fantastic B-side, right? That's what it is. He used to be an A-side, but he's a fantastic B-side. He's there. He's flashy. You know the name. It is what it is. Let's talk. I'm talking about. Okay,
you can't fool us You can't fool us anymore by saying
exactly.
Adrian Broner. Like, will he turn back the clock? He's lost too many fights now to just and he looks the same. He just doesn't punch.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it a bean. I had him losing by a round. Also, I said at very best, it's a draw. At very best, because of the late rally that he had in the fight, right? And even when I say late rally, he still didn't do a lot. He relies on his power far too much. He doesn't have enough power. He doesn't have the power that he once did. So at the end of the day, it's just
we don't know if his power is.
It's
just he's never had power at 147.
Yeah, he's never had, absolutely. At 140, killer. 47, he hasn't had the pop. I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. It is impossible for you to win a fight if your opponent landed 100 more strikes than you. His opponent landed 100 more punches. It's impossible. So these judges, this is a disgrace.
Well, I mean, that's
this
not a
is
fight.
An absolute disgrace. That's what I have to say about that in itself. Let me talk about Adrian Broner for a second.
Is there much to talk about?
No, and this is I'm going to ask you this question, but I'm going to lead it up because my question is this: is Adrian Broner still an elite fighter, and can he fight at the elite level? Hey guys, Adrian Broner's not elite. Okay, he's not an elite fighter. He never wins when he fights against elite fighters. I don't know what mentally is fucked up in there in terms of why he has all the ability, but he can't pull the trigger. I don't know what it is. And I'll tell you exactly what it is. Maidana beat his ass, and he has been gun shy ever since. It is a damn shame. And then to sit there afterwards and call out I'm coming for all you champions. I'm coming and getting the belts. Yeah, all about beams, baby. Joe, shut up. Like, I have no time for that, bro.
Try to curse out the commentators because they said they had him losing. Like, you weren't punching.
An ass, bro. You weren't punching. You cannot win fights. Like, do you all remember when this fool fought Manny Pacquiao and said he won the fight and he landed like 9 strikes the entire fight?
Hey, look, he's a good B-side, like you said. If he lands a fight with Regis Prograis, we'll be watching. But
yes.
outside of that, it's not much he can do to interest us. He's no longer main event quality.
He's not main event quality. And I'm going to be like, thank you. You hit it on the head. I am not interested in watching Adrian Broner fight. Now, if he somehow lucks up, depends on how you look at luck, but if he lucks up and gets a fight with Regis Prograis, I will absolutely watch. It is. It's realistic. It'll be an entertaining fight. It's a great fight for Regis Prograis because, one, easy money. Mm-hmm. Easy money. We going to the club. Easy money. Not only is that fight easy money, it's going to give him the name, value, and recognition that he needs. I think Regis Prograis is one of the best fighters in the world. Mm-hmm. And I just think
needs
not
those
enough
eyeballs.
people know he needs those eyeballs. I think it's a good one. I think AB will talk enough shit. And Regis, dude, if you do not know Riguru, I need you to look him up. Anything you want to say about this?
I don't want to spend time on Adrian Broner.
All right, we over. Moving on to somebody actually I do enjoy and I love to talk about. Teofimo Lopez. Granted, I have not liked some of the things that he was saying recently. I don't like some of this shit, but it is what it is. Get in where you fit in, I guess.
His first bid is actually happening tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, it is happening tomorrow, which is amazing. That's going to be on. Tomorrow is the 25th. So February 25th. For those who care,
a virtual purse bid that got pushed back because of weather.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. But Teofimo Lopez is having some issues with his promoter in Top Rank. Bob Arum of Top Rank. All of us we talked about it at the top of the show. We're going to talk about it again. His fighters a lot of times do not feel as if they are paid their worth. They do not feel valued. So, Teofimo Lopez says that he is willing to fight his mandatory, which is George Cambros Jr., but he is willing to find another venue or another way to promote that fight if he does not get the dollar amount that he wants. And that dollar amount is $1.25 million. And Top Rank says they are not willing to pay $1.25 million for Teofimo Lopez.
So what I understand is going on is that his contract has a contract minimum of $1.25 million or $1.2 million, and they're giving him his minimum for this fight, which they don't feel like is a big fight, and he thinks it's worth more than that. So I think the fight, because it's for a title and Kambosos is the mandatory, the fight is going to a purse bid where you can see Teofimo Lopez potentially fighting on another platform. So we're talking DAZN, we're talking Showtime, if Al Heyman were to win. So that happens tomorrow. I don't necessarily expect ESPN to win, but we will see.
Yeah.
This is, I think we've been talking about we don't like some of the things that Teofimo's saying lately, and I think that's rightfully so. However, Top Rank is not innocent in this. You look at their history, like Mikey, and I was listening to I think Pug and Cop earlier this week, and he mentioned this, like,
great show.
Marky Garcia sat out 2 years.
2 years
to stop fucking with Top Rank. Yep. Mayweather paid $750,000, almost $1 million to get out of his contract. Pacquiao was no longer with them. De La Hoya got away from them. They have a history of these superstar fighters just not being happy under that top rank banner once they make a name for themselves. And so, while it seems like Teofimo's a little whiny because he hasn't done much, he beat Lomachenko. But if you're going to build a legacy, as talented as you are and as amazing as your record look, you're going to have to do more than just that. So we want to see it, but he has a right to get paid. And if he sees these guys, these guys on the other side of the fence, of course Al Heyman fighters, but if he sees these guys on the other side of the fence getting paid and he feels like he's missing out, then he has to do what he can. But don't sacrifice these years of your career and let some of these big fights go by you, all because of money. Yes, you deserved it, but I mean, you'll be out of that top rate contract at some point and go with Al Heyman like you should have to begin with.
Straight up. It's one of those. It's really weird, man. Why people keep going to keep going to Bob Arum? I think Bob Arum. It seems like for up and coming guys, he's a legend. He gets them to that level. Once they get to that level, he doesn't take care of them anymore. After that, he doesn't. He's cheap. And you see a lot of. I mean, realistically, he's doing what every sports league does, right? I get him young. I get as much as I can out of them. And once they hit a certain age or they get too expensive, I get rid of them, right?
And it's Terrence Crawford's another one.
Dude, oh my God. But you know what? But Terrence Crawford, that's on Terrence Crawford for re-signing with those motherfuckers.
But I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about a superstar fighter that's unhappy under him.
Which is ridiculous because we're talking about people. And then you look at Teofimo Lopez. So let me talk about this really fast. So Teofimo Lopez is talking about fighting, like I said, George Kambosos Jr. Kambosos Jr., for guys who do not know, is not a fucking walk in the park. Kambosos can throw down. I mean, his last two fights, he beat two former champions, and Mikey Bay and Lee Shelby. Granted, he only won by split decisions. He's a tough dude from Australia. He moves well. He's really fast-handed. It would be an interesting fight. I'm not saying he'd win, but it's a tough fight, right?
It's a highlight fight.
It's a highlight. It is. Yeah,
Teofimo, we ain't seen him. Get you one.
Yeah,
you only need a few good highlights earlier in your career. They're playing forever, so just go get you one.
It would be. It has the potential for being one of those fights. It really does. Do you think Teofimo Lopez is getting too big for his britches in terms of he's talking about, obviously, he's worth so much more than $1.2 million. Let's just be frank, right? They should absolutely pay him more than that.
In the pandemic, I'm not so sure.
Okay, well, I'm glad you said it then. Do you think that because it's a pandemic and it is getting to the point that there is no gate right now, is he asking for too much?
I think he is. I think he is. I think he's a smaller fighter. You're talking about the lightweight division. I'm glad you said it. You're right. The smaller fighters go, the less popular they are, and as popular as these guys are to us, are they crossover stars? I'm just not sure yet. So to expect all of this money without a live gate in times where fighters are just not getting paid, but not as much, and you have the chance to make $1 million payday against someone that's lesser known. yeah, I'm sure you want more money, but I mean, he made what, $2 million for Lomachenko. So
it's a good payday for him, and it's like, so what does he want?
But I mean,
he just want $2 million.
But I mean, you made $2 million against Lomachenko. So
right. So you want more than that?
How much
for
are you
George
expecting?
Kambosos? Yeah, you're right. That shit don't make sense.
But the idea was he took a discount for that fight, and once he got the belts, he was going to start demanding larger paydays. So now he's trying to cash in that check.
I don't know. It's interesting how he went out there and said, you got to be Money Mayweather, you got to be Pretty Boy first, right?
A rumor mill. There was a guy that fought Xander Zayas on the Top Rank undercard. Apparently, he grew up with Teofimo Lopez, good friend of his. Rumors that Teofimo tried to get into the fight, and Top Rank gave him issues at first. Like, they wouldn't let him in initially.
They wouldn't let Teofimo in initially?
Because, Teofimo was at the fight to follow, because Xander Zayas is his boy. So he pulled up. He's a Top Rank fighter. I guess they just pull up to the bubble. Oh. And apparently he had issues at first. I'm not sure if that's due to the dispute that they're having, but...
Huh. Well, we'll keep our eyes
gossip
for that one. No, that's good. I'm glad you dropped that, man. I hadn't even heard about that yet. That's good shit. All right, let's transition. We got fights this weekend. And not only do we have fucking fights this weekend, we got fucking Canelo Alvarez coming back, guys. We got the pound for pound #1 guy. We got the greatest Mexican fighter of all time coming out and doing his thing. Canelo motherfucking Alvarez is going out. Yes, he's the greatest.
Are we there?
Greatest Mexican of all time. Okay. Take your fucking Julio Cesar Chavez and kick fucking rock sideways. Julio get fucked up by Canelo. He's nothing near it. Don't even give me that shit.
I mean, does matching them up head to head mean that, like, Julio Cesar Chavez still wasn't the greatest Mexican fighter ever?
He's not. Canelo has surpassed that, in my opinion. The fact that Canelo Alvarez has been able to go up so many weight classes and go in and out of the weight classes, that in itself, makes a difference. The level of danger that Canelo has fighting these guys at light heavyweight in comparison to the danger and fighting people at lightweight is a huge difference. That makes a difference to me.
I'm more in a position to argue for Canelo than I am for Julio Cesar Chavez. I just think, I understand Julio Cesar Chavez. I know the reason he's as large as he was in the fights that he was in. So just to understand that that's the standard that you're measuring him against, a guy that finished his career 107-6, to say that Canelo has surpassed him, that's tough. It's very tough.
Dog, them first 80 were like cab drivers, fam.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like legitimate cab drivers. If you go look at them dudes' records and shit, like, he fought a whole bunch of nobodies in Mexico. I do not want to take anything away from him, though, because Julio Cesar Chavez is one of the greatest. He is on the fucking Mount Rushmore. He is the man. Growing up, I was a huge Chavez fan growing up. So, not that I'm shitting on him.
He's not his son.
He's not his son. No. Julio Cesar Chavez is a beast. In fact, I was cheering for Chavez against De La Hoya when they fought. Because Chavez was the man. And that's when I was like, they taught me that type of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So,
old man.
I think I'm like 3 years older than you.
I said he was an old man.
Oh, yeah, he was. I thought you called me an old man just because my birthday you talking shit.
He was an old man. That's how it is in boxing. He did it to Chavez. Pacquiao did it to him. It's just how it is.
It's just how it is. And Pacquiao, you see why Pacquiao, that's why he's trying to fight fucking YouTubers and shit.
Yeah, he's trying to avoid that. He's trying to avoid that highlight.
He is trying to avoid that highlight. He been on enough highlights. He don't want to be on anymore. All right, let's talk about Canelo real quick. He fights Yildirim this weekend. I'm excited about this fight, not as much because of the opponent, because I'm gonna keep it a bean. I don't think Yildirim gives him that much resistance. I think this is one of the we're gonna see Canelo show the fuck out type of fights. We're gonna get that highlight.
What's the theme of the episode? Go get you a highlight.
Go get you a highlight. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Hey, that's why I should name the episode. Go get you a highlight.
Go get you a highlight.
Straight up. Because that's what it is, man. I think he's gonna go out there and get him a highlight. Look good. Look at him. This is his first. He just launched yesterday. He launched Canelo Promotions. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday. He's doing this thing. You see him out there with the shirt off. He's showing up to press conferences in fucking silk PJs.
It's a happy Canelo.
Man, what'd you say?
He's a happy Canelo. I don't maybe it's understanding that he's gonna have to promote himself, but he's just not the stone faced warrior that we've come to see. He lets you into his life a little bit more. He's posting a lot more on Instagram, like wearing a little fun little silk pajamas. Like
he's swaggy.
He's just more so embracing the moment and still showing up as that same dog.
Man, I mean, straight killer in there. Okay, let me ask you this, because he is going in swaggy. The prediction time. What do you got? When does Canelo win and how?
5.
Yeah, I think that's good. I can see that. I was gonna say 3, but I think he might give us 5 just because he wants to get some work in. You know what I'm saying? Get some rounds up. So I think Canelo's gonna go out there and do fucking work. Let me ask you this: is Canelo the best dressed guy in boxing currently?
Probably not. Daniel Jacobs probably the best dressed guy in boxing.
Daniel Jacobs ain't the best dressed no more, man. I know that's your New York guy, but there's some other people that dress better than him.
Who? You got niggas like Errol Spence who just wear jewelry. That's not dressing.
Yeah, he wear a champion hoodie and jewelry. That's all he rocks.
You see that fat ass chain he had at the last fight they showed him at? But I mean, niggas like that just wear jewelry. They not dressing. Wilder just be, he wears extravagant stuff. I mean, he got his own little swag. I mean, to me, I think Daniel Jacobs.
How about the Charlos?
Yeah, they can dress a little bit. They
swaggy.
To me, they just wear a bunch of expensive shit, like ugly ass dad shoes and shit. And they be calling that shit fly.
That's a good point. They do.
Like I think Daniel Jacobs actually fly. Like you putting like little different fits together. Like it should be fly. Where I mean, the Charlos they can dress better than most, but they just like wearing a bunch of expensive shit. Like wear a bunch of Dior and just call it fly.
True. And salute to Danny Jacobs because he's winning in life right now.
No, I don't think they get it together anymore.
No.
I don't think they get it together anymore. Short-lived.
Short-lived. It was a good time while it lasted.
It was good while it lasted.
All right, well, look, you know what time it is right now. And really quick, for everybody who is watching live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitch, thank you guys, as always, for joining the show, man. You guys know where to find us. It's the Fight Podcast. You can listen everywhere podcasting is available. Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Check us out at thefightpodcast.com. Brandon, real quick, man. They say you beat Camm 13. It is Guru's time. Guru's Corner. Brother, what you got for me today, man?
So this week, it's now February 24th, but February 22nd is a date.
Black History Month, still here.
Black History Month, still here. And it's a date that we're probably all familiar with. It is 1 year from the super fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Going into that fight, they fought once, had a draw. That was such a big fight for the moment. The world was open. Like they had Super Bowl spots. The promotion was out of control. We had Wilder picked, and Wilder just goes in there and gets his ass kicked. Tyson Fury beat the shit out of him. And it's crazy because at that point in time, we just knew that within a week that we would likely get a rematch by summer. That never happened. And it's crazy that in a year since then, it's almost like the heavyweight division is sort of frozen. Like AJ fought once, but it's like frozen in time.
True.
We're still at the same place we were an exact year ago. Nothing has happened, except for Wilder beefing with Breland. But now you got AJ trying to fight Fury. That contract still hasn't been signed. That hopefully gets signed within the next month. But Wilder still hasn't signed to fight anybody. Like you had the big knockout over the summer where Dylan White got knocked out, but it just seems like the heavyweight division, especially with the top guys, are just frozen in time.
Oh man, do you believe we'll actually get that Tyson Fury fight?
Yes.
That Tyson Fury, yeah, okay.
Yes.
When is the next time we actually believe you see Deontay Wilder back? Because he's been kind of tripping still and being weird and whatever. Do we see him back in sooner than later?
Yeah, this year.
Yeah,
probably.
Who do you think he gets?
They've tossed a bunch of names out there. I've heard Andy Ruiz tossed out there. I've heard Prince Charles.
I'm be honest with you guys. I think that's a bad matchup for him right now. I've heard not the one you want next, because now Andy Ruiz is over there training with the best trainer in boxing too. No.
Charles Martin is another one I've heard thrown around.
Yeah.
speaking of heavyweights, what's the name got beat up this weekend by
Who's
Walin? Dominic Brazil just got beat up.
Dominic Brazil did get beat up. He did get beat up. That was
Walin was just sharp. He was just sharp. But yeah, I mean, I've heard a couple names thrown around, but it's all very short lived and nothing has happened. I don't know what Deontay Wilder's doing, but take your time, buddy. If you need to get your mind right, come back and rededicate yourself to the sport. Fine. Like, I'd love to see some more highlight knockouts off of him. Hey, go get yourself a knockout. I mean, go get yourself a highlight. Come back, go get your highlight. Come back,
get yourself a highlight. That's what I'm talking about.
But I mean, it's nobody consistent and no dates thrown around. So with Wilder, I don't know, but I do expect the AJ and Fury fight to happen by summer.
Nice. Well, I hope so, man, because that is obviously when the heavyweights are active. I think that's when boxing is absolutely at its best. So to be able to see those, what was it? Oh, absolutely, it is the cornerstone of the sport
and the biggest fight in UK history,
boxing history. Absolutely. So hope that happens. That would be historic. It will be a landmark event. But I also have another historic landmark event that I have to talk about, bro. Jigga Man, Hova, goes out there, signs an amazing deal, partners with essentially the partner company at Hennessy, and now he's essentially going to be the biggest Ace of Spades is going to be like the biggest champagne producer in the fucking world. He's taken over Cristal. Y'all can kick rock sideways, bro. What do you think about this shit?
You ever just be out with a group of people and it's just a nigga that like to be different, like a nigga that just like to say unpopular shit, like
all the time.
If I'm out and you're that guy that's hating on Jay, like, it tells me all I need to know about you.
Hey, man, look.
I don't need to know much more. Why?
I don't even have conversations with you. If somebody literally starts trying to, I will not get Jay-Z blasphemy to me at all. I will not tolerate any Jay-Z blasphemy.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could probably have Jay-Z on a video like killing a 5-year-old. I'd be like, you should have seen how that 5-year-old must be nasty. Terrible.
5-year-old was terrible motherfucker. Dude, look, hey, I almost got into an argument with my girl, and you know how I feel about my lady. She said something I did not appreciate about Jay-Z, and I felt away, and I had to check myself. Like, I don't know this nigga.
Yeah, women they're real salty about lemonade. That they not happy about that whole phase. I'll let them have that. You know, ladies are ladies.
All right. All right, man. But that was amazing. 50% of it, he, is in partnership. Jay continues to inspire and do his thing. So I was really happy on that. Jay is the GOAT in my opinion. He continues to prove why he's the GOAT. Also, bro, New York, you got the Yankees hat on, my G. Mm-hmm. Welcome home, Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda, welcome back home. What are your thoughts on that, man?
My thoughts, this is probably an unpopular thought. I'm that nigga that likes to be a little bit different, but like, I feel like,
oh, you that guy right now?
As much as niggas hate 6ix9ine, like, he's like, he's oddly responsible for so much news and so much shit the media reports, and he drags your favorite rappers or rappers that you like into like bullshit. Like, it's like you don't get the opportunity to even ignore him, and it's like, but due to 6ix9ine, we saw how bad things can go when there's just a bitch ass nigga in the wrong places, like
bitch ass,
or in the right places, depending on who you ask. When a nigga, it makes us appreciate what Bobby Shmurda did so much more, because like Bobby Shmurda had a hit and a half. Like, no reason for us to be like celebrating him coming home, but he was a real nigga. He held his own for him and his mans. He did the right thing, and the culture appreciates that. The culture needs to see that, because rappers looking bad. Like, I think as a rapper, you're terrible. Like, we don't want you guys to think we're all like this. That's just that nigga.
Man, yo, wait, did you see? I told myself I'll never talk about 6ix9ine's dumbass.
Here we are. Yo, he controls so much.
He does, man. Like, this fuck boy is in here like getting into shit with like Meek Mill. He's like calling out. He's like Jake Paul of the music industry. I don't want to talk about Jake Paul ever again, but I have to, because he keeps calling out fucking real fighters. It's the same guy. they're literally doing the same. It's that like they're taking troll to the umpteenth level. And here's the thing, it's gonna get y'all fucked up.
I mean, we actually saw what happens this week. We saw exactly what happens.
Wait, who got at him? What happened?
No, we saw whatever that video was, where the MMA fighter with the football player.
Oh my God, Joe. So for those who haven't seen it, it was Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma's receivers. I understand the kid's pretty good. He went out there, was trying to bully some kids at the bar.
Did he look at his ears?
He didn't look at his ears. I think he probably just looked at the cowboy boots and was like, I can definitely take this guy.
I can take that. I can take this motherfucker. If I can take anybody.
I can take anybody. Look, this little fuzzy-headed kid with cowboy boots, I can fuck him up. Well, he didn't know this little kid.
I'm on the football team.
Yeah, he was like, I'm this big football player. And here's the thing, we've all been to college. Well, maybe not. But we've been around it. We've seen movies at the very least.
I can tell you about it.
Yo, the football players, sometimes they be acting like that. I've seen them go out there. They be thinking they whoop everybody's ass. They do. And you know what? Sometimes shit like this happens. This just happened to be on camera. This kid got fucked all the way up. Had to get eye surgery. Talk about that. And I got another one for you. Did you see that?
But he did it with swag though. But he did it with swag though. Like it's funny because his friend got him beat up. His friend from behind him nudge buddy. He was like, all right, you put your hands on me. I'm gonna just take the nigga close to me. And
well, here's the thing.
It's just football players getting slammed everywhere.
I can't, dude. How many football players got slammed?
Bro,
you just saw football players just falling.
You gotta fuck with the group of MMA niggas.
That's the funniest shit ever. They'll think twice before they do that shit ever again. So did you see that the kid who whooped his ass to pay for lawyer fees and shit, he put out a GoFundMe. Kid got like 15 grand of GoFundMe money because people are giving him money to be like, hell yeah, we're gonna hook you up, kid.
And it's only a video. He could be the fucked up person. He could be some type of terrible bully, and we just support him because like the video showed him getting picked on.
Yo, seriously, man. Oh, dude, I think that's just hilarious. Oh, that's what said. He's like, they got other videos with angles showing because he had a bloody nose first, and showing how the football players fuck with them first. So it looks bad, all the way bad. Almost as bad as Jake Paul did look against Ben Askren on Twitter today, or whatever that was.
You know, Dana White looking. He getting a few more street fights. Dana White will sign him.
Man, who you telling?
He be right down there. Who that football player? The heavyweight? Greg Hardy? He be right there with Greg Hardy.
Straight up.
And he actually got experience.
Man, no, that kid can keep getting it, man. All right, man. Any other news and notes, man, you want to get to today, man? Anything you got?
Tiger, I'm glad he's well. But
I'm glad Tiger's okay.
Stop acting like he's dead.
Yeah, they are acting weird about it, right?
They're over.
They said he's all right. Yeah,
like,
he was okay.
Fine. He's fine. I mean, injuries suck. Who knows if he'll play golf again? But like, we're acting like he's dead. And I thank God that he's okay. But I mean, we're doing a little much.
Yeah, a little bit much. All right. So good. You know. Salute to you, Tiger. I'm glad you're all right. Let me think. Anything else? The Nets are looking good. Brooklyn's fucking killing it.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Derek fucking Lewis once again. Holy shit. The heaviest
we had
puncher
knockouts
I've
this
ever
weekend.
seen.
I don't know. This is probably like it's like the single best weekend of knockouts like in a very long time.
It was great. Oh, dude, I loved every second of it. It was great. I was able to. I had to look at all the fights again. Can you
think of a better like in one weekend? You got like two like knockout of the year candidates.
Not across both sports. I can't think of it across both sports like that. No. Right. So it's gonna be good, man. Well, all right, bro. I think that's about all the time we got today, bro. Hey, thank you as always, my brother. Where can the people find you?
You know, they can find me on Instagram at bcam13 with 2 M's and on Twitter at bcamthinks. I appreciate you having me, my brother. Yes, and I will be back next week.
Absolutely, man. Well, look, for everybody who's joining in, this is episode 272 of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. Remember, check us out everywhere podcasting is available: Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Check us out at thefightpodcast.com. Listen, like, subscribe, share. You can do it right down there. Do one of them things, let your people know about it. Also, check out the IG page. Brandon, you can tell them about the page, man. That shit's fire.
Content. Sergio, the motherfucking content god. You
Got
want
this
sport?
shit.
You want combat sports news? Please follow Sergio on Instagram. It's good quality content. Honestly, if you follow boxing pages, you know it's a lot of low quality shit out there. Sergio does a lot of work to make sure he's putting out good quality stuff. So definitely a dope follow.
There it is, man. There it is. Well, brother, I appreciate you. BCam13, BCam Thinks on Twitter. Serg Vicente, this is episode 272 of the Greatest Combat Sports. This is all things boxing. What we said we're going to call the episode today is going to be like,
go get
fucking
you a highlight.
Go get you a motherfucking highlight. Love you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.